Okay, so for our class today, we're going to focus on targeting our lower back and sciatica nerve. That is a really long nerve that runs through the hips and down through the buttocks and in through the back of the legs. So sometimes you may think you have overstretched or damaged your hamstring, or you've hurt a calf muscle, and sometimes it's sciatica. So it's always good to do some stretching and keep up with that. And we do quite a bit of that because we flow and we do lots of different poses, but we're just going to focus on that a little bit more today. So we're going to start in a seated meditation. So come to your mat and find a comfortable seat. Pull the fleshy parts of the bun out of the way and find those sit bones to give you a nice foundation into the earth. And you can sit cross-legged or whatever is comfortable for you today. And then once you're here and you have those sit bones grounded, just tilt the spine back just a little bit. And that will engage the core, lift the shoulders up to the ears, and then push them back, squeezing them together and push them down. Bend your elbows, bring your hands to your knees with palms open, or down if you want to practice the mudra. The Guyana mudra is the one people are most familiar with, pointer finger to thumb, which is supposed to help us with our concentration and our consciousness. Some people believe that if they meditate in this way with this mudra, when they have a difficult decision to make, it will help concentration. So if you're comfortable, go ahead and close your eyes. If not, you can just let your eyes be heavy towards the mat. And if you find that you're uncomfortable here, just wiggle around till you can find that place where maybe it's a little bit of a challenge to hold the upper body up, but we don't want any of you to be in pain. Inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose. And just for the next few breaths, take this short half hour for yourself. Just really concentrate on the breath. And try not to fight with those thoughts that may come into your mind. We're all busy, and things nag at us. Just let them float by. Just tell them you'll be back. If it helps, you can count to 4 on the inhale through the nose, and 4 on the exhale through the nose. One more breath here. Make sure that you are balanced with both an inhale and an exhale. And then you can leave the eyes closed for this next part if you are feeling relaxed. If not, just let the eyes open. Inhale and bring your hands down to the mat, pressing the fingers into the mat. If your palms reach, great. My arms are not long enough. And create sort of those spider fingers and just push them into the mat. Bend into your left elbow and lift your right hand up and over, bicep next to the ear. For a side stretch, really grounding into those sit bones. Reach that hand towards the opposite wall. Lower the shoulders down the back so you'll really get a stretch in that side. Take your drishti or gaze to the sky. As we're here, you may feel a little more flexible. Maybe you can flatten out that bottom palm onto the mat. But think about lifting and then reaching. Inhale and come back to center, bringing both hands to the mat, pressing those fingertips into the mat. This time bending into the right elbow and lifting the left over the head, bicep next to the ear, and reach. Dristy goes to the sky. Think about keeping the spine nice and long, and then see if you can't bring that palm down. Pushing those sit bones into the mat. Really stretch into that side. Inhale and come back to center. Leaving your left leg underneath. Bring your right foot on the opposite side of that left knee. And we'll stay here for just a moment, making certain that we have the balance in the sit bones, that we're sitting up tall. And then hold on to that right knee with the left arm. Lift the right arm to the sky and then wind it behind you as a kickstand for the spine and look over that right shoulder. Not too much here. We're going to go gentle this first time. Really paying attention to alignment, so grounding those sit bones, pushing that right toe into the mat, really lifting the spine on the inhale, and then just gently twisting on the exhale. Inhale, exhale, and gently unwind, coming back to center, unwinding the legs, this time threading that right foot underneath and bringing the left foot over on the other side of the knee. And before you move, make sure that those sit bones are balanced. Really stretch the spine long, pressing that left toe into the mat. So we have a nice firm foundation here. Holding the right hand to the left knee. Inhale and lift the left arm and wind it behind the spine. Inhale and reach the spine long. Exhale, gently looking over the left shoulder. Push that toe down into the mat. Make sure you're on those sit bones. Make the twist here gentle here in the beginning. Just waking up the body. If that's too much on your neck, you can always find that neck rotation until you find the comfortable spot. Listen to your body. Yoga is about self-acceptance, which also joins us in our practice, and we try to get into a pose we're not ready for. Inhale, exhale, and slowly unwind, bringing the knees together and the feet to one side. Come up into a tabletop pose. Pull that right knee forward. Push that left knee directly behind the right. Spread the feet wide. Push with the hands and bring the hips down between the feet. Gomukhasana legs. Once again, find the balance on the sit bones. Inhale and lift those arms out to a T. Bring the left arm up by the bicep and point the thumb down. On the opposite hand, swoop that hand up the back and pat yourself with the left. If you can reach your fingers, join them together. If not, just press into your back or grab hold of your shirt. Try to keep that upper bicep next to the ear and check back in with those sit bones. Breathe through the nose here. This is one of the best stretches you can do every day for low back pain, for hip pain, sciatica pain. Just a good reason to try Gomukhasana every day. You can do it while you watch TV. Check back in, pushing some weight over into the hip that's trying to come off the mat. One more breath here. Sometimes this is a pretty strenuous stretch. Inhale, exhale, and unwind those arms, releasing them. Come back in to the tabletop pose. Bring your left knee out front and tuck your right knee behind. We usually have one side that's going to be a little more flexible than the other. So spread the feet, push with the hands until the hips come down between the feet. It can be harder to get settled in that one side that's a little less flexible. You can always use a blanket or a pillow, block, sit up. So keeping the spine nice and straight. If this is really too excruciating, you can let those knees come apart a little bit. Our goal is to try to keep them one on top of the other, but if that's not your pose for today, it's perfectly fine. You're still getting a nice stretch here. Just make sure you balance on both sit bones. Inhale and bring the hands out to a T. And bring that right hand by the bicep. Point the left thumb down. Swoop that left hand up behind you and pat yourself on the back with the right. Grab hold of the fingers or press into your back. Grab hold of your shirt. Breathe here. Find the balance between those two sit bones. We always try to get light on one side. Inhale. Exhale and unwind those arms, coming back into tabletop pose. I'm going to turn my rotation on the mat. You can stay wherever you are and just go through a few cat-cows. So inhale, dragging the chest through, dropping the belly, lifting the gaze. Exhale, lift the belly, drop the gaze, push into the shoulders. Inhale to cow, exhale to cat. One more, inhale and exhale. Just make sure you're even here before you come back to center. Inhaling and tuck the toes, pushing into all 10 fingers, lift the hips and come to down dog. You can have a bend in those knees. Really push the spine long with the hands, pulling the hips to the sky. And as we take a few breaths here, just think about trying to bring some of the weight into the feet, even if your knees are bent, and pointing your hips to the sky. And once you start to feel a little more Warmed up, start pushing into the backs of the legs. Push into the hands, lift the hips, and then push into the backs of the legs. Inhale and lift the right foot, bend the knee, bring it to your chest, coming forward on the mat. Place your foot towards the front of the mat. Look at your back foot, swivel for warrior two. Your foot is parallel to the short edge of the mat. Your back arch should be in one long line with your front heel. Windmill the hands open. Virabhadrasana 2. Warrior 2. Hands are at a T. Bend into that front knee. Push harder than you think you need to into that back heel. Squeeze the shoulders and press them down the back. Inhale and bring that front elbow to your knee. Bring your top arm next to your bicep next to your ear for side angle pose. Lift into the hips and use that elbow to open the heart to the sky. Take your gaze to the sky. We're going to hop up into a rather advanced pose. So feel free to stop anywhere along the road. Bringing that top hand to lie next to the hip. Bring your bottom hand about 6 inches in front of the baby toe and lift that top foot. See if you can open your hips, open your heart. And if you're okay here, lift that top hand to the sky for Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. Push into that bottom foot, push into that top foot, even though it's an imaginary wall. If you want to challenge your balance, try looking to the sky. Inhale and step back to warrior two, Virabhadrasana 2. Just briefly settle here, push into that back heel, bend into that front knee. On your next inhale, windmill the hands down to the mat, come up on the ball of the back foot, step to plank pose. And we're all, rather than going through chaturanga in different ways, we're going to come up onto the toes, bending the elbows. We're going to come all the way down to the mat in one long line. Untuck the toes. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders and push into the hands, lifting the shoulders. Squeeze the elbows in. Release the glutes. Point the toes. If you can look to the sky, just briefly, loosen those glutes. Breathe here. If you're okay here, maybe see if you can push into those hands, leaving the hips glued to the mat. Try briefly straightening into those elbows. If this is more than you want, just come back down to cobra or baby cobra. Inhale here, exhale, and come down to the mat. Push through tabletop, tuck your toes, and lift to down dog. Push into all 10 fingers, pull your hips to the sky, and push into the backs of those legs. Inhale and lift the left leg, bend the knee, bring it to your chest, coming forward on the mat. Place your foot at the top of the mat. Look at your back foot and swivel For Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2, back foot parallel with short end of the mat, windmill, the hands open, bend into that front knee, push into that back heel, hands are at a T, drishti, your gaze is over your front fingers. Inhale and bring that elbow down to the knee. Bring your top hand, bicep next to the ear. Using the leverage of that elbow, open the heart to the sky. Don't forget to keep pushing into that back foot. Lift slightly into the hips. Try not to collapse down to your mat. Inhale, if you want to go on farther. Exhale and bring that top hand to lie down your thigh. Bring your left hand about 6 inches outside your baby toe. Inhale and lift that back foot. If you're okay here, open that heart to the sky, lifting your hand up to the sky. If you want to challenge your gaze, try looking to the sky. Try opening those hips. Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. Push into that bottom foot. Push into your imaginary wall with your top foot. Inhale, exhale, come back into Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. Just for a couple of breaths, pushing into that back foot, bending into that front knee. On your next inhale, windmill the hands down to the mat. Come up on to the ball of the back foot. Bring your left to meet the right. In plank pose, once again, come on to the toes, bend the elbows. We're gonna come in one long line all the way down to the mat. Inhale, untuck the toes, bring your hands directly underneath the shoulders, gluing those hips to the mat before you lift. Inhale, squeeze the shoulders together, lift the chest. Use the hands and see if you can drag your body slightly forward. Bring your gaze to the sky. Breathe here. Release those glutes. We always want to grab hold there. Building strength in the back, in the backs of the legs. Inhale, if you want to try straightening into those arms. Inhale, exhale, and come down to the mat. Push back through tabletop, tuck your toes, and lift your hips, down dog. Inhale and lift your right leg, bend your knee, bring it to your chest, bring that knee forward with you on the mat, place it near the top of the mat, untuck your back toes, walk your hands back, broaden your chest for Kapotasana, pigeon pose. Really find the balance between these two legs, not sitting over into that right hip, staying up, balance between the two, and then begin walking the hands forward. You can use the hands as a pillow, or spread the hands out long. Still keeping the balance between those two legs. Keeping this stretch aligned into the hips, into the sciatica. the backs of the legs. Inhale and lift yourself back up. Proud Kapotasana pigeon here. Bring your hands to the mat. Tuck your back toes. Lift that right leg to the sky. Rotate the ankle and bring it to meet the left. Inhale, lift the left leg, bend the knee. Bring it to your chest, coming forward on the mat. Place your knee at the top of the mat. Stretch your back leg out long and tuck the toes. Find weight distribution between the two legs, not sitting into that hip, really sitting up, balance between the two legs, broadening the chest, Kapotasana, pigeon pose. You may notice there's a slight stretch in the hip, down the back of the leg. And this will work both of those hips. Inhale and begin to walk the hands forward and let the head drop. Here you'll notice that the stretch moves more into the front leg, so make sure you stay balanced. Maybe even pulling a little bit of weight over into the long leg side. And you'll feel this stretch in the back of that bent knee. Inhale and walk your hands back up. Broaden the chest. Inhale and bring your hands down to the mat. Tuck your back toes. Lift that left leg to the sky. Rotate the ankle and bring it down. Push into down dog. Inhale and walk to the center of your mat. Bring your hips down. Bring your feet in front of you. Hold behind your legs. Roll that spine down. Bringing the knees with you. Squeezing them into the chest and then letting them fall over to your right side. Stretch your left arm out long and use that right hand to help those hips push over a little bit more while you pin those shoulders to the mat. You can bring this supine twist into the full extension of your spine. And if it's okay with your neck, look over your left hand. Inhale and exhale. Really let go here. Let gravity do some of the work. Inhale and lift those knees back to center. Squeeze them into the chest and let them fall over to the other side. Extend the right arm out long. Use that left hand to help the hip. Glue those shoulders to the mat. And look, let your gaze fall over your right arm. This is a great twist in the spine, but also brings it into the hips and then the sciatica. You can always make it more intense by straightening out that top leg, holding on to the foot. Completely up to you. Inhale and lift those knees back to center. Squeeze the knees into the chest and then push the legs out long. Bring your hands beside you. Let your feet fall open. Let your eyes close and the tongue fall from the roof of your mouth. Inhale and bring your feet back to the mat. Roll over to your right side using your bicep as a pillow, pausing in fetal pose, just to give yourself a moment to be grateful for your strong body and the time you took to come to yoga. Push your hands into the mat, lift up into a seated pose, just as we begin class. I am a Iyengar follower. He was a master in yoga, and he said that yoga teaches us to cure what need not be endured and endure what cannot be cured. So I hope, we ran through them rather quickly, but I hope that if you do have lower back or sciatica pain, you can use some of these exercises that we went through today. These poses are great for stretching out lower back, sciatica, and hips. So let's inhale one last time together, bringing the palms together and the hands to heart center, exhaling, bowing over the hands. We are grateful for yoga because it helps us know what we already are and be who we already are. Namaste. Thank you, yogis. Have a great day. Enjoy the beautiful weather.